everybody and welcome to In My Mug, episode 146 on Monday the 29th of August 2011. My name is Steve Layton and this week I'm a bit sad again because this is the last ever In My Mug in the roastery. Loads and loads of good times here and lots of them up in this roof space overlooking the roastery, kind of talking to you guys. So thank you very much for those people that emailed me with suggestions of where I should do the last one. Seemed around about 50% of you kind of set up here would be fitting and right, so that's why we're here. So this weekend we're going to be moving into the new place, so expect me to go on a lot about this over the next few weeks. It's kind of taken over my life a little bit and I'm very excited about the move. Also, I want to take this chance, I don't do this very often within my mug, but this is something a bit personal, to say happy anniversary to Mrs. Has-Been. Today, being Monday, of course, because I've recorded it Monday, honestly, Monday the 29th. I've been happily married for a year. Well, actually, no, I've been married for 16 years and only happily married for one. No, I joke. Mrs. Has-Been has been the most forgiving in this folly called Has-Been, and probably the person that suffered the most in this dream that I wanted to do. The old saying of behind every great man is a great woman is very fitting in this one, and my wedding anniversary this year we're going to be spending moving into the new place. That's the kind of forgiving lady that she is. So we've been a couple for 21 years and lived together for 19 of those and been married for 16 of them. So I'm a very lucky man and very happy anniversary Mrs. Has-Been. So moving on from that smush, we do coffee on this video cast and this week's is a brand new one. Brand new, direct trade, and a coffee that we're really hoping that we can build on for the future. Very much looking forward to presenting this one to you because it's from one of my favourite origins. It's from El Salvador. The farm was first set up in 1905 by the father of the present owner, Don Francisco Alberto Pacas Figuerero, I think. And called San Rafael. It lies at the top of the estate. So this is a part of his estate at an altitude of 1,400 metres. And Francisco experimented with lots of different varietals in his nursery before he came on Bourbon being the varietal for San Rafael. It continues to produce the best coffee. And a varietal that seems very suited to El Salvador. His son, who's now taken over the farm, continues to experiment with new varieties of coffee. But to this day, Bourbon thrives, Bourbon does well, and all the other things that they've done hasn't stood up to the quality of this. Now, there's a bit of a reason for this. The Bourbon varietal was planted extensively in El Salvador and across the world. But what happened in the 80s, 90s, while everybody was ripping out their Bourbon trees, there was civil war in El Salvador, and it meant that people weren't ripping out their trees, they were fighting each other, and this has led to this great plant stock being left. People are now going back to plant Bourbon and its different varietals, different sub-varietals. So it's a great coffee, tends to lend itself very well to espresso. Now this is very general, big broad brush I'm painting with here, but it does tend to lend itself very well to espresso, so I'm very much looking forward to this one in the espresso. So yes, the farm, very professionally run, uses lots of not organic, but doesn't use chemicals and things on the farm, and they care very much for the environment around it and employ a lot of people from the local village. Located near to the city of Santa Ana, very close to the Opus Ariba. I'm probably pronouncing that awfully wrong, but yeah, it's a coffee that I cupped, I loved, and we pounced on buying. It's going to be a fairly big one for us, I think, and I hope you agree. So I'm excited. I'm going to whap you on pause. I'm going to go make some delicious, tasty, lovely coffee as I always do at this stage, and I'll be back with you in just a second. Okay, so I'm back. I'm going to dive straight into the espresso. Okay, so what you get with the espresso, you get this huge chocolate base. It doesn't disappoint as an espresso. It really kind of got chocolatey mouthfeel, you've got hazelnuts in there, you've got huge melted butter mouthfeel going on. And it just tastes like really malty and lovely, and a perfect espresso. Yes, yeah, I can wax lyrical about that one all day. So into the cappuccino. You still get the chocolate coming through the cappuccino, which is good. You get that hazelnut. The melted butter thing disappears a bit, but then you've got all of that milk going on, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, a very good cappuccino. My milk rocked today as well. I know you like to know these things. So, okay, the brewed smells really different. You smell all of that maltedness. A huge hit of that melted butter again that gets lost in the cappuccino is there in the espresso, there in the brewed. You also get, it's kind of, the descriptor I used when I cupped it I think really fits the brewed coffee. You get a burst of Werther's Original. It really is that kind of, you know what a Werther's Original, old man sweet, very sticky, sweet, caramelly, kind of, you know, just very kind of butterscotchy, that kind of taste, and it is delicious brewed as well. This is actually really tough to choose which is which. Right, espresso first, I think, for sure. I love the espresso. I'm going to have brewed second and cappuccino third. That's my order for these ones. I'm really excited about this coffee because this is the first year working with them. I'm hoping to go out next year back to El Salvador and go and meet them and spend some time with them. Yeah, I really am very excited about the possibilities of working with these farms and going forward. So yes, San Rafael from Santa Ana, Bourbon varietal, and yeah, super espresso. Things to talk about, In My Mug app. I know lots of you saw it last week. Do go and have a look on Has blog for the In My Mug app and download that. Happy wedding anniversary again to Mrs. Hasbeen. Yes, I think that's an important one. And yeah, I think that's pretty much us done. So see you in the new place. Hello everybody and welcome to In My Mug, episode 146, on Monday the 29th of August 2011. My name is Steve Layton, and this week I'm sad, as this is my last week in the roastery, in the old roastery I should say. Lots of good times here, and lots of them in this very cupping room. So thank you to all of the emails on the choice of where to do the last one. It seemed about 50% of you thought that this would be the best place to do it. Okay, admission time, it seemed very split on what people were suggesting where to do the last one. It was definitely between the roof and here, and I felt that too. Lots of good times in this cupping lab and lots of good times on the roof. So I thought, why not do it in both? And the way I thought about doing it in both was to send some of you one coffee, some of you another coffee, and then that gives me a very good reason to do two of these in my mugs. So that's what I've done. The San Rafael that I've just talked about before is an amazing coffee. It's a Bourbon coffee from El Salvador, and the one from that we're going to do now is also an El Salvadoran coffee and is also a Bourbon. So there's lots of links with them, and it seemed like a really cool way of doing it. I know you've already had to listen to one of these, so I'm very keen to press on. You didn't think I was going to end the last one without saying life's too short for bad coffee, did you? Couldn't choose where to do it. Yeah, these are my two favourite places, and I'm going to be really sad to lose both of them, but there's going to be loads of lovely new places across there. So, as I've said, this coffee is very similar to the last one, but it's similar it's a brand new one to us. We've never stocked it before. It's also another of our direct trade coffees, which is very good, and it's also a coffee we really hope that we can build on in the future and do much more work with. The farm size is approximately 6 acres of land on the slopes of the Santa Ana volcano. Has an altitude of 1,250 metres. It is shade grown. It's shade grown with Ingus and Balsamo trees, which are native plants and are ideal for the microclimate, to preserve the environment, encourage wildlife, all of those things. All of the weeding and the tending to the crops is done by hand, again using people from the local village. It's owned by Aida Eugenia Martinez Medina, and has been in her family for 2 generations. The farm is called San Juan, and it only grows Bourbon, nothing else. Same as the last one, there's a good reason why there's lots of Bourbon in El Salvador, and there's a good reason why El Salvador has so many amazing coffees. Keen to press on, because I know this is the second one, so I'm very excited to try it. I'm going to whap you on pause, and I'll be back in just a second. Right, so I'm back. I'm going to dive straight into the espresso. Oh, it smells very different to the last one. There's a real floral hit to it. Just smells incredibly floral. A lot brighter. A lot more acidity. I'm getting some limes, I'm getting a little bit of grapefruit, a little bit of pithiness, much more citrus. But then it kind of changes and goes really, really smooth and thinking like dark chocolate. Again, a lovely espresso, but incredibly different, considering these are so close together, same varietal, same country, very different cups. This feels really old school. I wish I'd done some more in here recently, because this is like the good old days. This is, I don't know, this just feels very old school. Into milk. Nailed the milk again. Nailed it. That citrus cuts through. You get that lime. Big limes. Huge limes. This big limes. Very, very, very much so. That grapefruit disappears off a little bit, as does the chocolate. But wow. Big limes. I wish my milk came like that every time. And into the brood. Okay, citrus again. It's there. This is a very, very bright coffee. Finishes smooth dark chocolate. Again, like the espresso, but this has got a little bit of a nutty edge to it. I'm getting a real pecan. And it's a big pecan in the brood. Delicious again. So, some kind of order. I'm going to go cappuccino. I love it in the cappuccino. That citrus really kind of works well with it. Espresso brewed. That's my order. Thank you very much for joining me. I am going to wrap up because I think I've kept you for long enough. Thank you very, very much for indulging me and letting do these 2. Oh, actually, yes, that was something I wanted to do. So, obviously, some of you got San Juan, some of you got San Rafael. So, if you didn't get the one that you wanted, coming up below, I haven't done this, so let's be a bit more old school, a voucher. It's going to give you 50 pence off a bag. It's already really good value, so 50 pence off a bag if you want to try the other one. I appreciate that sometimes, you know, you don't get to try what you always want, so... that's there. They're both delicious, they're both very different. I kind of wish I'd done a bit of a multi-pack thing now, but this seemed like a really good idea to do the two locations. So thank you very much for joining me. I love you all dearly. Happy anniversary again, Mrs. Layton. And do remember, life is too short for bad coffee.